got a special guest.
Yes.
Your special guest.
Yes.
I don't know if you all saw the last episode or not, but we did have Cece's husband, Alfred Malone, here with us, and he just really gave us some insight on being a player and getting injured on the field and how you handle that, and just highlighted the fact that it's very important that you document those injuries and keep track of what's going on with you, and that the team has knowledge.
Yeah, so as we talked about in the last episode, we represent retired NFL players. That's been part of our practice for the past going on 7 years now. And because of that, we've encountered a lot of different questions, and we've come across a lot of different situations that has led us to provide the players that are now playing with some information that could be helpful if they come to see us. When and or if they have to come and see us when they're done playing. And the only reason you would come and see us is if you are disabled, right? Or if you feel like you are disabled and you need some assistance in trying to obtain the benefits that may be available to you because of that. So we want to highlight a little bit of the benefits that are available to you through the NFL's program for retired players. And yes, the NFL does make provisions for retired players. So, not only do you get the perks of playing when you're playing, you also get some benefits and have some resources, a lot of resources actually, that are available to you when you're done. What do? First thing we would say is
go to work.
Go to work. We know that a lot of you made some investments and were investing while you were playing, and now that you're done, you want those investments to work for you, right? Well, one of the ways to do that is to continue contributing as much as you can to those investments, but also just go to work. We suggest you go ahead and start up some sort of, company, LLC, work on your second passion, because hopefully you do have a second passion. You all do know that football is not forever. You can't play forever. Your body won't let you do it. So make sure you hopefully are developing that second passion while you're playing, and then when you're done, you can go ahead and pursue it. And one of the ways to do that is to first determine what that is, come up with a business name, and set you up an LLC, register your company with the state, and start working in that business.
And last month we did an entire series on small businesses and starting a business, so you can check those out if you are now thinking of getting a business started.
Right. Depending on how you feel after you stop playing. Now, if you had a career-ending injury, that may be a different story. But if you just had, your run-of-the-mill injuries that you may suffer in the NFL, that a lot of the guys do suffer, and you're still able to get around, you're still able to move, go ahead and work in that business. If you're not working in your own business, go ahead and try to get a job, maybe with a corporation. A lot of corporations love to hire retired NFL players. Just telling you that. They love you guys. So go ahead and try that. And then once you have done that for a while, if it comes to a point where you feel like your body just can't, produce like it should in whatever job that you have tried to do, then that's when the disability benefits start to come about. There is a benefit that you are entitled to if you qualify, that you can receive while you're still working. Okay, there's no requirement on the amount of money you can make, and this particular benefit allows you to work unlimited hours and still obtain the benefit. And the NFL calls this line of duty.
And sometimes you may hear line of duty being referenced to as LOD. With this benefit, being that you are able to work and receive the benefit, there are a couple of things that are very key in applying for them. So one is that if you have 4 or less credited seasons, you will only have 4 years from the time you stop being an active player to apply. If you have 5 or more credited seasons, you have however many years you play from the time you stop being an active player to apply. So for example, if you played for 6 years and then you stopped being an active player, meaning you no longer played, you have 6 years to apply for LOD. The other thing that we really want you to be mindful of and point out with LOD is that you will only receive this benefit for,
I think it's up to
7 years.
It's up to 7
Up
years.
to 7 years.
Mhm.
Let's correct that. So up to 7 years would be the time period that you have to actually receive the benefit. CC did mention that if you qualify or if you get approved, so LOD works on a point system. So we're going to let CC kind of dive into that point system and your injuries and how that may work.
Well, I mean, I can go on all day about the point system, right?
But a little bit about
the main point that I want to get across with regard to the point system is to make sure that when you're done playing, you get all your x-rays, you get full body evaluations, get an evaluation from a company that evaluates employees or potential employees for jobs, for their physical ability to perform a job. And those things right there can help establish your claim for line of duty, because the x-rays are going to show if there's any broken bones, fractures or anything like that. Those count towards your points for line of duty. And then also the full body evaluation is going to determine your range of motion, how you can move, how you can bend, how you can squat. All those different things will go towards your points for line of duty. The one thing that we do want you to know is that with the new CBA, the 2020 CBA, you are able to bring your own records and have the NFL determine whether or not you are entitled to LOD with your own records. You don't have to go to their doctors if your records are sufficient. So if you need some help in determining whether your records are sufficient, or contact an attorney that does disability. You can contact us, ask us questions in the comments, and we can help you make that determination and see if there's a way that you can get your disability, your line of duty disability, with your own doctors.
And that kind of brings me back to the point of our last episode on why documenting your injuries is so important. And of course, while you're playing and you're having fun, those things aren't on your mind. But if you are watching this video, I hope that we are placing a little seed there, that these are things that can just get your wheels turning, and you can kind of consider in just having the knowledge of going back to work or starting a second passion and doing those things. And then if it doesn't seem to be working out, these are options that are available to you, but you want to have the documentation in order to move properly and smoothly through the process.
Correct.
If possible.
That's well said. And one thing that, another question that we do get a lot from players that, may come and ask questions, or, just in passing, we may get a call, or one of my husband's friends may ask, well, how much do you get? Mm-hmm. The NFL sets the amounts. Okay, these amounts are predetermined, so there's nothing that you can or can't do to take away the amount of money that you are entitled to with line of duty. So those amounts are all set under the new 2020 CBA, and an attorney can go over those amounts and all those the different nuances when it comes to that with you.
So that was just one of the benefits that could possibly be available to you. What is another one?
Well, another one, which is a big one, is it's called total and permanent disability benefits. Total and permanent disability benefits are also known as
TNP. So at any point, if you hear someone referencing TNP, they are speaking of total and permanent disability. And in saying the name, it kind of gives me chills. It's like, don't take that name lightly, right? We already said that with LOD, you are able to work, but with TNP, it's total and permanent.
You cannot work and make a whole lot of money. Right? Okay, so, we don't want you to think that, TNP is considered total and permanent. So your injuries are not going, anywhere. They're permanent. They're there to stay, unfortunately, and the NFL compensates you for that. Okay? But the main thing you have to think about is, what are the requirements for TNP? You can work, but you really only can make I think, was it $30,000?
You can't make over $30,000, but I think that key is the type of work. Like, what are you doing for work?
Well, that is a big thing. Yeah, don't get tripped up. Don't look at that and be like, oh, I can still make $30,000 a year and still get total and permanent disability benefits. Technically, yes, but in reality, no. Okay, and this is not coming from anything in the CBA. This is coming from us as practice who deals with this on a day-to-day basis. Okay, now with the TMP, you can run or you can have a family business and make unlimited money, right? That's what TMP and that's what the other disability benefits as well. That doesn't count against you. But if you are working in that business, right, you have to decide, okay, am I able to actually do the physical requirements that this job takes? And if you are able to do that, then you probably don't want to apply for total and permanent disability benefits. And when I say the physical requirements, if you have a family business, right? Let's start with a family business. If you have a family business where you have to, lift boxes, say you have a logistics company. A lot of players actually go into that after they are done playing. And there's a lot of boxes, there's a lot of movement, there's a lot of going up in and out of trucks, there's a lot of, going up and down stairs. Yeah, you have a family business and say your brother works with you, and your son or whoever, they all work with you, guys work together, it's a family business. But it's a family business that requires physical exertion, like an enormous amount of physical exertion. And do you go to the NFL and apply for TMP and say, well, I just have a family business, and yes, it might make $200,000 a year, but it's just my family business? Well, the question is going to be, what do you do in that family business? What are your roles in that business? And if you say, and if your role is to do all those things I just talked about, then you're not going to be entitled to TMP. Okay? And even if it's not a family business and you're making $30,000 a year, you have a job that requires those physical type, activities, then you're not going to be entitled to TMP. You're not going to get your TMP. So, look at those, look at the provisions in there and see what it says and think on your own. Oh, okay, this applies to me. Well, think again and make sure you talk to an attorney, talk to someone who's experienced with this disability process to make sure that you're going about it the right way. With TMP, there are certain time frames that apply at different stages. Okay, so the first stage we're going to talk about is when your total and permanent disability sets in. So there are different tiers to this total and permanent disability benefit that the NFL provides for you all as retired players. A lot of players ask, how do I get the higher benefits? When I'm done, there's an option for higher benefits, and there's another benefit below that, and there's a benefit below that, and they want to know, how do you get the higher benefits if you are injured or if you're disabled? Well, first thing you need to know is that in order to qualify for the highest benefits that the NFL pays for a disabled retired player, the disability has to have arisen within 6 months after your initial injury. And you have to file your application within 18 months after you have ceased to become an active player. Okay, when I say cease, that means when you are no longer an active player. So the day that you are no longer an active player, and within 18 months after that, you have to file your application in order to be entitled to those higher benefits. If you are determined to be disabled anytime after that 6 months, then you have the ability to get the benefits below that higher benefit. You qualify for that as long as you file your application within 15 years after you have ceased to become an active player. Okay, so those are just a couple of ways. There's other options there, but we're going to just highlight those two because those are the most popular that we see coming into our office, and we think that it's helpful to you now that you are retired. If you are about to retire, you've been retired for a long time. All those things help you streamline your questions, even to your attorney once you go and talk to them about helping you get your benefits.
Yeah, I think that covered a lot of ground. At this point, you definitely have a lot to go back and think about. We've talked through and covered, line of duty, LOD, its statute of limitations, what the pay would look like in terms of the amount of time or length that you can receive that benefit, because again, the amount of the pay is set by the NFL. And then we also covered total and permanent, TMP, and we've hit the high points on your applying for that and what that would look like. Talk to some of your fellow teammates and friends and just kind of get the conversation started on what are we going to do when we no longer play the game?
Right. That's a very important question that
Yeah.
a lot of you all forget to ask. Yourselves and other players.
Right.
So, we are going to go ahead and wrap it up. We thank you for watching our video. We ask that if you enjoyed, the contents of this video, that you like, comment, and then go subscribe to our channel, and make sure that you turn on those post notifications, because we drop videos like this all the time and you don't want to miss the next one.